Hey folks, today is Friday, February 7th, 2025. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. We got a pretty juicy, stacked week, so we should just jump right in. Figured to start off with the first thing. Grand Theft Auto 6 is still definitely coming out in fall 2025. That's what they're reiterating. That's what they're saying. Anything can happen, in my opinion. But as of right now, the newest headline is Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick going on record during their financial earnings thing, saying, once again, that Grand Theft Auto 6 is on track for that fall 2025 release window. And I quote, "We've announced a pretty narrow window, so I think our view is that right now, that's fine. And then when it's appropriate, of course, Rockstar is going to have more say." So yes, it's like, hey, shareholders, hey, business people, yes, it's coming. We're all going to make a bunch of money, but also maybe, I don't know. To me, it's still leaving the window open that things could move, things could be delayed. Games always get delayed. Rockstar games always get delayed. The game has been in the works for millions and billions of years now at this point, so who knows? I'm just spitballing here. I would like to see it release in fall 2025. That would be nice. Also, the rest of the video game industry is hoping it'll release then because everybody's still waiting to announce the release dates for their games because they have to work around the sales juggernaut that is this game. If you've been paying attention to video game releases for a long time, does fall 2025 sound believable or realistic for you? But the other big news story is, in my opinion, this bombshell report from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg detailing just a lot of the ins and outs, ups and downs that Warner Brothers is facing right now on their video game division. The head of Warner Brothers Games, the exec there, did leave not too far back, but this kind of details some of the issues there. The report suggests that he is a corporate exec who really didn't have a good understanding of video games, much to the frustration of lower level management and also the game developers and the people behind these studios. But there are so many little nuggets in this report. I suggest checking it out if you can, because it details essentially what all Warner Brothers studios are up to right now. Warner Brothers Montreal, of course, Avalanche Studios apparently working on new extra content, but also a sequel to Hogwarts Legacy. There's a lot of news about the Wonder Woman game, and apparently Monolith's Wonder Woman game is on thin ice. Apparently last year it went through a development reboot and leadership changes. The report also suggests that early versions of the game, works in progress, had the Nemesis system from their previous game, Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, but apparently it wasn't working out, so they scrapped it and pivoted to more of a regular old action adventure game. That kills me, man. God damn it, just saying that out loud. What are they doing? Are they fumbling this all? Last year, Warner Brothers and their parent company took a $300 million loss on video game stuff. This year, this report suggests, was supposed to be the year where they would kind of keep things rolling and make live service money from Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and Multiversus, both of which are shut down now and not generating money. So it's going to take them a little while to rework and reprioritize, but they're starting to realize that they just have a bunch of IP and they need to make the things that people actually want. You own Superman, you own Wonder Woman, you own Harry Potter, just give them that. Case in point, specifically, the report ends with Rocksteady, suggesting that people at Rocksteady, licking their wounds from what was the failure of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, are turning their eyes back towards Batman, where it all started for them with Batman Arkham Asylum. The quote is, "Now, Rocksteady is looking to return to Batman for a single-player game, but according to people familiar with the timeline, the new project is years away from landing. Look, if they're only getting a Batman game greenlit now, or if they're even in the process of pitching it, I think at this point, it's more likely that Warner Brothers will say yes. They're like, yes, please make a Batman game. We need a win." But that's a ways off. Of course, this is all scoops. This is all inside reporting, so it's all still technically rumors. We can't count it as the truth. It's all unnamed sources and stuff like that, people who remain anonymous. But still, it's a really, really interesting report. Confirms a lot of what I thought. Confirms a lot of what I've heard. So if you do want to read up on it, it's juicy. Like I said, all the stuff I talk about this week, everything is linked in the description down below if you want to catch up. In other news, EA seems to be still very committed to live live service. EA had their whole big financial earnings call thing with CEO Andrew Wilson saying some pretty interesting things. And by pretty interesting, I think I mean pretty bullshit. So to kind of summarize it, to break it down, Games Radar does a good job. I'll link their thing. But essentially, Andrew Wilson was saying that Dragon Age the Veilguard didn't reach a broad enough audience. Not because the game was uninteresting or anything like that. No, according to him, it's because it wasn't a live service thing. Saying specifically that right now in the industry is when people playing games are looking for increasingly seeking shared world features and deeper engagement. It's frustrating to hear. Even former BioWare people like Mark Laidlaw came out and said like, hey, it doesn't make any sense to take a series that people absolutely love, a beloved thing, and then turn it into a multiplayer only thing. Not a spin-off, but just take that thing and do that. The quote specifically from Mike Laidlaw, it's really good. I'm not a fancy CEO guy, but if someone said to me, the key to this successful single-player IP success is to make it a purely multiplayer game, not a spin-off, fundamentally change the DNA of what people actually loved about the core game, to me, I'd probably quit that job or something. Good for him. Great quote. A lot of people are kind of pushing back against this. Even the people behind Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Warhorse Studios head, said that they're really happy with the numbers, and if the trend continues at the same pace, it will be great. At the time of making this video, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 sold 1 million copies in a day at launch. So it flies directly in the face of some of what EA is saying here, with them really wanting to push live service stuff. The more detailed earnings report and conversation, it just reads really disgusting and corporate to me, to the point where they're using words to describe customers or players or whatever as acquisition cohorts and trying to reacquire them, which sounds to me like they're just trying to get addicted people back to being addicted with FC or whatever. It's all just weird, real bad stuff. Hopefully EA starts learning from their mistakes. And interestingly enough, they still publish single player and weird interesting stuff, like the next game from the people behind It Takes Two. That is a very unconventional game, and their games do well, and then they do this on the other hand. It's wild to me. Now next up, of course, 2025 is here. We're still settling into things, but there is plenty to get going on. And I know for some of you guys out there, you might want to try learning something new, acquiring a new skill. Well, thankfully, today's sponsor, Brilliant, can help with that. Brilliant offers thousands of interactive lessons in math, data analysis, programming, and AI. This is all well and good, but for me personally, I've never been a good test taker. I've never been good at memorizing things, but thankfully, Brilliant is all about learning by doing, which I think makes a heck of a difference. Brilliant is all about just introducing the first principles and then kind of building things up as you go, specifically to strengthen problem-solving skills. You're actually problem-solving here. You're not just memorizing. And that means you're actually fundamentally learning and understanding the thing you're trying to jump into. Why not jump into programming and get familiar with Python? Learn the essentials of coding and help work your mind to think a little bit like a programmer. It can be fun, especially because Brilliant encourages getting going with a daily learning habit, and you can do it on your phone. The lessons are fun and interactive, and you can do whenever you have the time. So if you want to check it out, try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days by heading to brilliant.org/gameranks. You can also scan the QR code on screen here or click the link in the description. You're also going to get 20% off an annual premium subscription. Again, that is brilliant.org/gameranks. And big thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the news. Now switching over to some good news, there was a leak earlier this week about Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta, the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and its release date. And then thankfully that leak was true, and then they put out this official trailer. So now you heard it here. Metal Gear Solid Delta is releasing August 28th, 2025. Look, I have been very, very skeptical of a Metal Gear remake. I've talked against remaking the original Metal Gear Solid for many years now. I still worry. I don't want them to screw it up. It's my baby. Metal Gear, if it's coming back to the mainstream, I'm going to continue to be annoying. Look, I mean, just the other day, I'm a collector, so I got... Did you know that they made a Metal Gear Solid board game that I kickstarted 5 years ago? I backed on Kickstarter. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I have a problem. It's sad, but I gotta just kind of put that up front, put my fanboy card out there, and just say that this trailer kicks ass. This is an incredible trailer that actually does a really good job distilling the main story elements of the game and kind of like a back of the box summary of what's going to happen, what players can expect, in a way that like really works, because the game can get so convoluted. This boils it down to its basics and the stuff I love about it the most. Plus, it's got the kick-ass incredible theme, one of the best bits of music from Metal Gear Solid. I don't know, it's a damn good trailer. I just hope they don't screw this up. I don't want a lot from Metal Gear. Like, honestly, at this point in my life, like if no more Metal Gear is made, I'm still very happy. But if they are remaking them, I just hope they do them the justice that they deserve. So now we'll know for sure August 28th, and I'll definitely going to be doing the before you buy for that, so check that video then. Now, next up, switching back to some corporate news, I had to drop Metal Gear in there just so I could like feel something. But the ESA is back. You know, the Entertainment Software Association. They're the lobbying group for video games that has been partially behind like E3 and stuff like that. They're back finally with a new thing, and it is an industry-only corporate thing. It's called IICON. I've seen a lot of people thinking like EA is back, but they're doing it weird. It's not really that. What this is essentially is a B2B event, or business to business. It's more about the business of games, not even really the creation of games, but like the selling, the retail, all that stuff. So all the major players are involved here. They did announce that this is a Vegas event in April with like Amazon, Disney, Electronic Arts, Epic, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, Square Enix, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers, and their website says that this is just going to be them all meeting, getting together in one shitty hotel in Las Vegas or whatever, just to talk about market expansion, technology innovation, different transmedia storytelling, esports and sports tech, just, you know, corporate buzzwords. It's labeled as a networking event specifically for gaming executives, brand strategists, investors, and industry pioneers. I don't belong there, but I'm going to try and get in anyway. Let's see what happens. This seems like it's not an event for us, for me, for you, but sometimes interesting conversations go on back there. So we'll see what actually comes from this event, if anything. But E3, again, it certainly is not. E3 in the early days did start out as more of this type of thing, like a behind closed doors, business only thing. So these events, these organization things are necessary, but I'm not gonna lie, they're boring. Now, some announcements from this week. The first is Battlefield Labs. So the next Battlefield game is coming. We've known this for a while, but they're going heavy on this one. They're investing a lot of different studios are all coming together to work on this thing. They're calling Battlefield Labs right now, and it's all primarily focused on getting players involved and getting feedback and building a game that the players want. It's cool that they had a very cool trailer talking about all that. To me, like, that goes over my head at this point. Like, it's very buzzword. Like, I know it was cool when some games like had a grassroots thing building up, being made by their player base, but with something like Battlefield, a massive franchise, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, like, do we want to do their work for them? Still, I do think player feedback is important, and it can make a game better. And it seems like with this, there's a little snippet of gameplay that they did show, like a pre-alpha, and it looks like a Battlefield 3 type of thing. Battlefield 3 at this point was released a very long time ago. So, you know, if they're going for more something like that, again, like, is it a little bit of a nostalgia play? Maybe, but I'll definitely want to check it out. What GameSpot is saying specifically is that because of like the way EA's fiscal year is working, the game will probably release between April 1st, 2025 and March 31st, 2026. So expect Battlefield something by end of March 2026. Also, with Onimusha coming back, you know, it was like announced like a whole new game and everything like that. The original game got an HD remaster a few years back, and now they're doing an HD remaster of Onimusha 2. Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, it's coming to all the major platforms. We don't know when exactly, but some point in 2025. And on the trailer, shout out to the comments, for the top comment being, "We are all just one step away from getting HD genre now," which is a great reference to the third game, and that was what I was thinking as well. I would love to see that. And this week, in terms of releases for us, the big thing was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I did the before you buy on that. I'll link that below. I absolutely love it. It's definitely not a game for the faint of heart. It's challenging. It can be a little obtuse, overwhelming at first, but it's all about just, you know, perseverance, trying, learning, getting better. And what you can experience is just a really immersive world and a really damn good story. I highly recommend it. Obviously, if you played the first game, it's like a slam dunk. Like you already know going in. But I think if you're new to the series, you can kind of get into this one. Maybe watch a YouTube video beforehand. But yeah, it is something. I think this is a very, very significant game. And Warhorse Studios really showed a lot of bigger studios how it's done. And something I did want to highlight, it happened at the very end of last week, like right after we put our show up, but it was a good conversation. One of the main heavyweights behind Fallout New Vegas at Obsidian back in the day, John Gonzalez, he was like the lead writer and like a creative design person for Fallout New Vegas. He actually is back. He got a new job at Obsidian, once again working on a new game. He said, and I quote, "Back to Obsidian for exciting times. No, it's not Fallout New Vegas 2. So there you go. It's the people thought like, oh, nope, apparently not. I think they're smart. I think they know what's going on. I don't think anyone is like their head in the sand about Fallout New Vegas. I think it's definitely been talked about. And I'll say that even if he's in there right now for something that is not Fallout New Vegas 2, things could maybe eventually lead to that. I actually wouldn't rule it out. I don't know if I sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist or anything, but like, yeah, that's just me. And that's just the gaming news this week. I do want to know what you guys think about everything we talked about, from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's success to EA kind of blaming Dragon Age Veilguard on not being live service enough, to the bombshell Warner Brothers game report. Let's talk about everything this week. What you expect from Battlefield Labs, anything at all. I'd love to hear from you. We'll be down in the comments as much as possible, specifically too with the pinned comment down below, where you can reply and let us know what you're currently playing, because it helps for our research for videos. But if you want to yell at me directly, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, all those places. Instagram I post the most on, it's my favorite. But yeah, follow me there. Follow me on YouTube at Jake Baldino. But that's really it. That's all I got for you guys. It was a lot of stuff. So like I said, let me know what you think. Keep your eyes peeled next week for a bunch of before you buys on some upcoming new games. Going to be playing Civ 7 over the weekend because like that's technically releasing today, sort of, if you buy like the bigger edition or whatever. So yeah, but that's really it. Thank you for watching. I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me. Have a great weekend. Be safe. See ya.